Claremore Cultural Development Authority meeting. Please call the roll.
Autumn. Spellman.
Here.
Michael.
Present.
Callender.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Bruckerhoff.
Here.
Mulvey. McSpadden.
Here.
Irwin.
Thank you. Can we stand together for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Mr. Doyle? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't have permission to do this, but I'm just going to say thank you, servants of the public, for serving in all kinds of times, all sorts of times. Guys, we get to pray. Lord, we're grateful. We're grateful to you. We're grateful for you. Looking forward, we put our trust in you. Our hope is in you. We know that you are the only one who can guide us to love our neighbor. You're the only one who can show us the wisdom we need going forward in this area. We trust you, Jesus, that you will begin a revival and a renewal of spiritual fruit in everything we do in this city, that we would show respect and love and honor to our neighbors as we all serve each other. For the glory of Jesus' name we pray, and we trust you to guide us through these proceedings. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have anybody in a call to the public?
We have one. Amber Robinson Rodriguez.
So I just want to talk about a few things on the agenda. First, I wanted to ask if there could be a correction to the previous minutes. It mentions that Maggie from the night is staff in attendance, but that's being argued by RFR specifically that CETA is a distinct entity. And so I think for just documentation and clarification purposes, it would be an easy fix that whoever's the sign off, deputy mayor and mayor could approve, outside of needing to get everybody together, put anyone behind on work to get that stuff. But I would also ask that it includes some of the documents that were submitted. There's one relevant to some fraudulent emails that the developer has been tied to, and I think that publicly was released today by Bert Momolo regarding their involvement in COETA. So I would just ask that the record, or that the minutes also include that document, or any documents that were submitted during the public comment. I would ask for a little bit of consideration on the fireworks permit. It says groups of 25 or more, and so I think that if you have a big family, that's kind of a low number, and so I'll just ask that you guys consider maybe bringing that a little higher, maybe even doubling it. With the speed limit ordinance, I would ask that you look to totally take out the 35 for that 0.38 miles. If there's some safety studies, or if there's something relevant to that really protecting the people, like, more than welcome to it, but honestly, I think that whole thing could just be changed to 55. I was not sure reading the agenda what the actual changes were in the agreement with the Rural Water District. So I would just ask there be some red line version made public before we get an official vote on that, and consider what kind of those changes actually look like. I know there's going to be a plat for the industrial park looked at, and so I would just ask for that same thing with the red line changes to be made public. And that's pretty much, I had two last things. The one was for the fiscal budget, where I would just ask for a strict no golf on public dining policy. I think there's been some confusion about where city employees are during operating hours, and question to if those funds are being spent fairly, so I would just ask that policy include that.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda as printed?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Michael,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
Mixback.
Yes.
Do we have items unforeseen?
None.
Current business, do we have a motion to accept the consent items as printed?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Bowman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
Mixback.
Yes.
Item number 2, presentation of the Claremore Cultural Development Authority budget for the 2026-27 fiscal year. Mr. Berry.
I'm going to have Ms. Malloy come up. While she's coming up, I know I emailed most of this stuff out to the council last week. We will certainly get this stuff up on the website as well. The intent is to just go over the initial presentation for CCDA, CPWA, as well as the city, and then get everything up on the website. At the next meeting or the second meeting in June, there will be a public hearing as required by law, presentation of the budget again. I will say that you all know we have worked diligently over the last several years to continue to make infrastructure a priority. And again, we have done that. This budget, Susan and her staff worked very, very hard, the directors. You'll notice that the total proposed budget this year, prior to interfund transfers, is about $121 million. That's $13.3 million less than last year's budget. Those transfers, and that's debt service back and forth, interfund transfers from CPWA to the city for electric revenue, things of that nature. That's $20.7 million. That's about $858,000 less. So if you look at your total operating budget this year, all the stuff that we need to keep the city moving, functioning, payroll, personal services, equipment, infrastructure, capital, all of those things, you'll see is $101 million. That is $12.5 million less than the current fiscal year's operating budget. So I want to commend her and the staff and all the department heads working with us to make sure that we were operating in a nature that is continuing to look at ways to save money. We always continue to eliminate waste and also things that we're not good at. Let's divest ourselves of them and get professionals in here. Part of that, you're going to see we still have a ton of large infrastructure projects. We're going to do about $1 million worth of in-house street projects this year, plus the $1 million that we allocate every year for our annual street rehabilitation project. You will see a significant amount of money invested in water improvements as well as wastewater. We are still in the process of working with CEC as we went last year through the master plan on designing our substation number 6, which is what we'll need for future growth in residential, as well as added capacity to substation 4, I believe. So we're working through that. That's going to be a high-end endeavor. We're also very close to wrapping up the $2.1 million reconductoring project that went up north to Sequoia. That will be finished. We will continue to add it. You will see a lot of those mentioned in here, but no budgeted number for, because that's such a large, all-encompassing capital project. We will look at options for a revenue note, which is accounted for separately than a budget. So we don't know that we'll get those this year. It just depends on how quickly engineering moves forward. And plus there's lead time. So auto transformers and all that stuff have a long lead time, especially when you're building a new substation. So, but you're going to see substantial continued investment in infrastructure. Didn't put a lot of bells and whistles this year, not a lot of toys, some police cars, a little bit of equipment here and there, but we cut to the bone just to make sure that we could operate at a really good fiscal conservative nature. So with that, I'll let Susan go through and hit the high level with her presentation.
Thank you, Council, Mayor. The first slide, you see the numbers.
Sorry. I don't know what's up.
Whoa.
All right,
One more?
One more. There you go. So just to recap, the $121 million proposed budget is $13.3 million less than the current year's budget. We did cut down to the bone, like you said, so we're trying to build up reserves and do what's best for the city. So our interfund transfers, again, $858,000 less than last year for a total operating budget of $101 million, which is $12.5 million less.
And we are budgeting for allocation of $1 million to reserve funds
Yep.
as well.
Okay, where's your sales tax money go? The new one is the general government, which just started this year. You get an extra penny for that. But you have the street and the expo wastewater treatment plant, and then your split penny. Our sales tax comparison, you can see that we have gone up every year, just a little bit here and there. The increase this year, of course, is because of the extra penny, and that's where we are as of today. On the use tax, we did the same thing. That one increased the penny as well. So we went up on that one as well. So it goes to zero. Our general fund reserves, our revenues is $27.7 million. Our biggest revenue comes from the Fund 40 transfer. So we do have our city sales tax and use tax that are a pretty big one. And over to the right, the O&G grant line extension. The revenue's in there because out of the $5 million for the whole project, we get $4 million back for the grant, so we only have to pay $1 million. This is the general fund expenses by department. The non-departmental, the biggest part of that is the 4.195 for the O&G grant as well, because we have to spend it out, but we get it back in the grant revenue. And then our biggest ones is the police and fire. So we wanted to focus a lot on our capital this year. This is the capital divided by category. Land acquisition, the biggest part of that one is stormwater, where we're going to purchase lands in the flood zone for $940,000. There's a grant for that one as well. We have the O&G line extension. The other capital, $1 million of that's just for transformers alone. The firing range, we're still working on that, using up those funds. And then, of course, infrastructure is our biggest one at $12.6 million. So we tried to break it down a little better for the infrastructure so you can see what our plans are for the projects to spend that. So like John said, the electric reconductor line project, that will be a revenue note once we get that going. The AMI electric and water meter replacement, once we choose a supplier, then we'll know better what the number is, but it's about $8 to $10 million. The O&G line extension grant, what we have left that we haven't spent is 4.175, but the city portion of that grant is only $1 million. We have the TAP grant, which is the pedestrian and bike trail improvement. Again, our portion's only $100,000. We have the Federal Railway Crossing Elimination Study Grant for $530, but our portion's only $106. We do have a tentative fitness area proposed by the Cat Creek Dog Park, and that'll be funded by donations. So when we get all the donations in, then we can start that project. CDBG sewer sidewalk grant, we get that one every year. Frederick Road is one of our biggest ones, but we're gonna expand it, make it better. So we have several different ones, but we wanted to put up there a list of the ones, so if it's somewhere near where you drive all the time, you at least know that it's on the plans to get work done. We jumped down the stormwater projects, we have $3.8 million in there. Revis Road drainage project, 1.5. The Sunset Channel Drainage and Box Culvert Project, 1.3. And then the bottom of the land acquisition grant for the properties in the flood zone in Springbrook is $940, but again, we only paid $190. The next slide shows the $950,000 of in-house reconstruction projects. There's always going to be things to do on the streets and places we have to repair, but it's just a quick listing of the ones that we're going to do in-house. It saves us tons of money without having to outsource it. The Heritage Hills panel replacement for $180, Florence and Payne drainage for $170, Chambers area concrete work for $140. But we have water projects as well for $750,000. We're gonna do the water treatment lagoon cleaning. We're gonna replace fire hydrant and valve replacements. We have North of Wayla water project for $60,000. Highway 88 Lowry Road for $180. So we just wanted to give you guys a list of, we are gonna be busy, get all these done. It's gonna take a while, but this is what our plan is to get moving forward.
I do want to note, if you see something like Swan's Dairy Project, it's not on private property. That's just what we call it in-house or internally. It's public infrastructure. It's just, it's how we reference it. Yep.
So the CPWA. So here's our outstanding debt at the end of the fiscal year. For FY27, we'll be at $71.8 million. And it continues to go down, of course, unless we get the revenue note to do more stuff. But we go down every year. The Public Works revenue by major department. The water revenue is $5.4 million. Electric revenue is obviously our biggest money maker at $34 million, although they do have quite a bit of expense that goes along with it. Sanitation at 1.6, sewer revenue at 2.6, operational revenue, this is a lot of everything else that we do, is 1.6, and the debt service transfer is 3.5.
And reminder, as the electric revenue, we budgeted about 20.5 or 21 million is what it costs us to purchase that electricity. So then there's the interfund transfer of just under 10, which has been annual to general fund. So the operating budget that goes back into electric, frankly, has never been high enough for, in my opinion, and that's why we're always looking at ways to diversify and increase without raising rates or taxes.
The Claremore Public Works Authority expenses by department. On this one, you'll see that the largest one is the GRDA, is 20.8. It's where we have it for this upcoming year. But sanitation is 1.4, and we have our debt on there as well because the debt gets paid out to CPWA. So we have the 2015, 2019, the 2020, the 2021. The 2023 wastewater treatment plant on there 1.6, and then the transfers to other funds is the 10.1. And lastly, the CCDA. The total of this budget, which includes the rec center and the expo, is about $3 million. The rec center is $934,000. The expo is $2.1 million. So the rec center, they have operational expenses of $215,000, personnel at $620, and then they have some capital at the bottom. They do really well staying with what they got. Expo, $2.1 million. The Tunes and Spoons expense, we help out with that event rolling. There's a capital expense for equipment and cameras, $49,000. One of the big ones this year is we have to replace the roof on the expo. That $550,000 may not even cover it, is our best guess. And then we have a lot of operational expenses to run that place, $859,000. and then personnel 517. And so, just to give an update on where we stand with the 2023 water treatment plant loan, it was a loan for $28 million. Current balance, we only have 4.6 left. But we spent $23.1 million on the project, and it's going well. So this is to do the quality of the water.
And they have reached out, we're looking to find a date sometime in August for a ribbon cutting of the expansion and firing up of the new green sand filtration, all of the improvements that have been made.
Outstanding. Long time coming.
Yeah, so.
That's all.
And when we say best guess, last year the roof estimate was $300,000. That's the thing where you wait a year, and now they say it's $550,000, and by the time we bid it, it could be $400 or $580. It's, almost 30 some odd thousand square feet of roof space that is a unique roof lining system, and we've had some pretty catastrophic leaks in heavy rain, and it's just time to do it. That's one of those facilities that you balance quality of life and try to figure out where it makes sense. And so we're constantly looking at ways to make that better, but a roof could go at any time on any of our facilities and cost several $100,000. So.
I had a question. I'm glad to hear about our reserve. I know we had to use that down when the tornado hit. So I know we're trying to work to build that back up. So what's the plan as far as what timeline to finally get that maybe back to a good number?
It's going to take several years. So there's some requirements in law that require you to have about 90 days of reserve for each fund, which we meet those. Also included in this budget is $3 million roughly in recovery from FEMA, hopefully this next fiscal year. So some of that will come back, we hope.
And then we'll have more than that maybe.
Maybe. I mean, again, Shawnee took 6 years to get all of their money back from the 2019 storm, 5 years.
After expecting the $3 million, how much have we gotten back?
We have gotten back right at about 5. We feel we're entitled, based on the 75% rule, to about 12 to 13. FEMA, we've done one appeal to an arbitration panel. We're waiting to hear the results of that on the initial first 30 days, cut and push, which was just clear everything out.
Did you put any in reserve last year, or will this be the first year we're kind of setting it back?
Well, we always put stuff in reserve,
Okay.
but this intentionally, we've had to use reserve, but this year we're budgeting intentionally to start putting money back in reserve.
Good.
Couple questions on the rec center and the expo. Can you talk about the revenue versus expenses on each one of those, how we're doing?
Yeah, the expo, and we don't have we have all the deep dive. The rec center, almost called it the Rexpo. The rec center obviously generates revenue. Increased usage looks good every year.
We were losing some money on the rec center in the past.
Yeah, there's been years up, and it's like anything else. On a good year, it used to maybe lose about $50,000, but if you had to put something major into the pool or redo the roof or some of those big air conditioning, it could lose $100,000 or $200,000. We've been pretty good here lately with that. Worst case scenario, we're about equal. We're not losing a bunch. The expo, frankly, doesn't generate dollars. It's a quality of life aspect. We try to be a good community partner, and we will continue to be as long as the council decides to do that. We let the fair host, and that's a bit of a revenue generator. RSU utilizes the facility as well for their basketball. But frankly, and I'm not bad about that. They pay us. We have negotiated an escalating revenue. I think in 5 years, or at 2 years after this year, 3 years after that, it'll be up $35,000 a month. It was $25,000 a month. We've got some escalators. The issue is that's 5 months we don't rent that space out. And we typically, on average, can do anywhere from $18,000 to $20,000 a weekend, depending on the type of event. So you have to balance that. It's just, at some point, I believe the city will have to make a business decision about that facility. And I don't know if that's a conversation we want to start having. I think we need to do some things to either diversify that and get it to create some more revenue. It's not as bad on years. And let's face it doesn't help that one of the hotels that helps fund that, the hotel motel tax, has been closed since the tornado. That has transitioned to a new ownership, and they're starting to, hopefully that, but even then, that's not a $550,000 difference on revenue. So we have to start having that conversation with the city, you all as a council, the authority, the trustees for the CCDA. We need to figure out what the best path forward is. And when you look at the cost to put on an event, I mean, if nobody's in that thing, it's $8,000 a month just to keep it heated, cooled, and the electric going. So we need to have a conversation about it. It's a big, and don't get me wrong, there's some quality events there. It's just, it's one of those things, and a lot of communities have those. They'll have a lot of issues. I can make the argument that our parks don't make us money, our roads don't make us money, and we spend millions on them as well. But that one is a tougher pill to swallow, but we need to continue to try to be a good community partner and see how that works and make that equitable. So we've taken a hard look at it this year. Stan and the staff over there have looked at what it costs to rent the facility. We've looked at everything from, we're gonna start hauling the trash in-house. We're not even gonna use, we're gonna be doing that with the roll-offs. So everything we can to save money over there where we can. And this was just an especially hard year because it's a $500,000 roof.
Any other questions?
Again, this is the same presentation that's on all three agendas like we typically have done. We'll certainly bring it up, and there's no action to be taken. We will get this posted as well as on the next agenda with the required public hearing. But I do want to thank Susan and the staff and the directors, because we told them it was going to be an interesting year. And it's not because we can't afford anything. We're in a very good spot fiscally, but this is how we recover from an $18 million hit. And this is how we'll operate until we can see where that goes.
They do a fantastic job. Fantastic.
Thanks, Susan.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned, do we have a second?
Second.
Call roll.
Feldman.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Callender.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Breckerhoff.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Big Sky.
Yes.
Call to order the Claremore Public Works Authority meeting. Note the roll. And a motion to accept the agenda as printed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Feldman.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Big Sky.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Callender.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Breckerhoff.
Yes.
Any items unforeseen?
None.
Current business, do we have a motion to accept the consent items as printed?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Feldman.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Callender.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Breckerhoff.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Big Sky.
Yes.
Item number 2, just like the one on the first agenda, presentation of the Claremore Public Works Authority budget for the 2026-27 fiscal year, which has already been presented.
We're happy to
If
throw it up
anybody
there
has
again if the
questions,
council wishes.
We'll go through it all
There's
again.
no action item this evening, so if there's any,
Everyone's good?
and you'll have a third opportunity.
Yes. Next
Deja
agenda.
vu all over again.
Okay, item number 3, discussion and vote to approve, reject an hourly contract with Pro Tree Management LLC as printed. Mr. Ball.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor and council. So for the last, about 5 years, we've been awarding a annual contract for basically power line clearing. That's what this contract's for. Been very successful over those years. The outage numbers have continually went down since we've done that. Basically, we just didn't have the personnel and the equipment in-house to keep up with what we were trying to keep up with. So that's been the move over the last few years, and it's been very successful. So this agenda item is a request to approve an hourly contract with Pro Tree Management LLC for fiscal year 26-27. We received 5 bids for this time. They were the low bid. We did check their references. They're currently working for the city of Miami and a electric co-op down around Okmulgee. So, and they've been pretty happy with their performance. So, with that, we recommend approval of the contract.
Does it look like it'll be a good savings for us?
It's a lower rate actually than we had with the previous.
Before? Okay.
Typically, Mayor, how we've allocated a budget amount. And so we had such a heavy need when we first started 5 years ago, it was $1 million a year. Well, we had struggled getting them to spend $1 million a year. So we reduced it down to $750, and I think this last year was the first time they got there. This was just one of those cuts that we made. They've been really good, but they've gotten out ahead of it. So we allocated a dollar amount, total dollar amount, and asked for you all to approve that in the budget. When they spend that, once it's verified in the field, it's gone. So if it takes them 3 months or a year or 6 months, once that budget amount is gone. So this was the best price per hour that we got
Okay.
through the bid process.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion approved and second. Any questions? Call the roll.
Feldman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
McSpadden.
Yes.
Item number 4, discussion and vote to approve or reject renewal of the unit price contract with Southern Electric Corporation of Mississippi for overhead electric construction services for fiscal year 2026-27. Mr. Paul.
So similar to the right-of-way clearing contract, this was a unit price contract for overhead electric construction that was approved a year ago. So essentially in the power grid, we don't have the personnel in-house to do all the reconductor work, pole replacement, those kind of projects that we need to do to get caught up to where we need to be caught up to. So last year you all approved the original contract with SEC. They're currently completing about a $2.1 million project, reconductoring all the overhead line from Lowry Road all the way out past Sequoia School. That area's had some overload issues, wire underside, that kind of thing. So they've been really great to work with. Don't have any issues. They have requested, in that original bid, we had the option to renew up to 2 additional years. So they did request to go ahead and renew their contract at the same price for this upcoming fiscal year. So with that, we recommend approval.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve and second. Any questions? Call the roll.
McSpadden,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Feldman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Bowlby.
Yes.
Item number 5, discussion and possible action regarding the purchase and sale agreement with Rogers County Rural Water District Number 2. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, trustees. This is an extension of the current purchase sale agreement with Rural Water 2. The last time we entered into that agreement was 2015. They're 40-year agreements. Occasionally, boards like to get together and make sure they have the security of additional water. The changes in this versus the previous agreement is that the rate's still the same. However, we put a sovereignty clause in there that basically states that if we ever sell to another rural water district, which we don't at this time, but there's a possibility in the future, if somebody needs an interconnect, if there's pressure issues with another rural water, we could put in an interconnect and meter that. This states that we will never charge them more than what we would another rural water district. So it's an extension of that. You'll see the rate is still the same. They're subject to anything else like we do in a rate increase, 60-day notice, ordinal changes, things of that nature. The monthly meter charge stays the same, the rate stays the same, but we just extended it as opposed to 40 years from this date with adding that sovereignty clause. And they're very grateful. They see that the improvements that we've made, we've gone 2 straight years with all the improvements we've made, first time ever without notices of violation for DEQ, and they were very grateful when I was at their meeting. Actually, I've talked to their people several times, and they appreciate it well. Their business is serving residential water, and they buy all of their water from us. They don't treat any of it. So they were appreciative of our efforts and the money that we're spending to make sure our system stays approved. I also reminded them that comes at a cost and that it's not free. So they understand that as well.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved and second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Feldman,
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
McSpadden.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned second, call the roll.
Michael,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Feldman,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
Mixed bag.
Yes.
Call to order the Claremore City Council meeting. Note the roll. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Hal, Bowlby.
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Feldman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Mixed bag.
Yes.
Any items unforeseen?
None.
Under mayor's report and appointments, item number 1, approval of appointment of Cheryl Wilcox to serve 5 years on the library board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
Mixed bag.
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
Feldman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Breckerhoff.
Yes.
Item number 2, approval of appointment of Elaine, is it Weinhold?
Mhm.
Is that right? To serve a 5-year term on the library board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved and second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Mixed bag.
Yes.
Feldman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Bowlby.
Yes.
Item number 3, approval of appointment of Lindsay Martin Dow to serve a 4-year term as a City of Claremore representative on the Rogers County Tourism Cooperative.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved and second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Feldman,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
Mixed bag.
Yes.
Boards and presentations and communications, Mr. Manager.
And done.
Staff report, Mr. Manager.
I do several things real quick, so I'll try to get these in order because I jot notes. So we just wrapped up this last week, culmination was Saturday with the Sunny Days Mural Festival. If you've had the opportunity to drive through downtown in the alleyways, they really did some really, really cool work. So appreciate that, and Kyle Clifton kind of helped put that together last year. And so there's some really, really quality stuff on, and the building owners were very gracious too, so it was awesome. Also, I'll send out a link. Kyle and Claremore got a little bit of a nod in the New York Times on our pattern zone housing. So kind of being the first one in the country to really take off. We weren't the first one to have it, but I think we had done more than anybody. And so it was really unique. There was Oklahoma and some features from some other cities. So it was really cool to see Kyle make the New York Times on something that he's passionate about and something that's really benefited Claremore, especially the original part of town with our infill. So it was awesome. It was a really good read. I'll make sure we get the link out to everybody.
Yes.
All right, coming up June 12th, this is, allegedly there's gonna be about 5,000 cars driving through Route 66 across the country, so I would, while we encourage everybody to get out and check out the cool cars, I don't know if you really quite appreciate how long it takes to get 5,000 cars through anywhere. I understand this last weekend through the Guinness record that they ran through Tulsa was 3,596 cars, and I think Garrett told me he was at 21st and somewhere for like 3 hours trying to get out of Tulsa. So that being said, they're just coming through. We have not been reached out to by OHP. They haven't asked us for anything. I think they plan on just, driving through town like they would anywhere else, but there'll be quite a bit of stops, I'm sure. So just be mindful of your travel plans on the June the 12th. There's no telling. I'm sure BNSF and UP will cooperate fully. That being said, continue on the car theme, coming up the 17th to the 21st is our 3rd year to host the Mid-America Nationals. It's my understanding, I think we already have over 1,000 people registered for their cars. We lifted, it's not just Ford, it's the Shelby Mid-America, so Mopar. It's going to be a pretty big deal. They're getting here earlier this year. They do a street party out there in front of the expo. It's one of those things you love to see, that and Tunes and Spoons, but you're like, if I could do that every weekend, we could justify it. So, but that's become a big deal. So we're looking forward to that. They spend a lot of time in town. They do some day trips, but they all stay here. They stay close. They spend a lot of money here. So that's a great endeavor for us moving forward. June the 27th is our fireworks show, and we deal with this every year. As you know, we do a July 4th fishing derby. We always have 200 to 300 kids, a lot of sponsorship, a lot of participation. We'll give away bikes, all that stuff. We always do our fireworks show normally the Saturday before that fishing derby, if it's not on a Saturday, because our staff at the Parks Department would have about a 20-hour day. This fishing derby starts setting up 6 a.m. and then by the time you get the park done, get everybody out of there, it's 12 or 1, and then they got to be back the next day to do cleanup. So we had transitioned long ago to doing one. Well, this year, the 4th happens to be on a Saturday, so we are oddly going to have our fireworks show. We'll probably be the first one in the year on June 27th, and then people can go to a cadre of other fireworks show across Rogers County and Tulsa for that week. But we will have our fishing derby on the 4th still. So outside of that, the only other thing that I am super excited about, tomorrow, the 300 block of Will Rogers Boulevard will be closed down. The businesses will be open, no traffic, as well as the public parking this side of Gazebo Park, as they will be shooting an episode of The Lowdown with both Mr. Hawk and Mr. Tommy Lee Jones in Claremore. So if you're trying to get around downtown tomorrow, you know, you might get a peek at somebody as they do some filming there. So very appreciative. Sarah has established a great relationship with their advanced people on the film industry side, and they really like coming to Claremore. They like the downtown, and so Sarah got to spend some time with them the other day, working out all the logistics. So excited about that. Another movie and another credit in a pretty major show. So that is all of the staff reports.
Thank you. Current business, do we have a motion to accept the consent items as printed?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Bowlby,
Yes.
Feldman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Parker Hawk,
Yes.
Hinsback.
Yes.
Item number 5, presentation of the City of Claremore budget as already presented. Anybody have questions?
Madam Mayor, I would like to say one more thing on the budget that I didn't mention under CCDA and CPWA. As you know, we've made it a very intentional okay. Add that to the list of things that needs to be. That's a new noise. I didn't know if that was the okay, well, anyway, we have looked every year to make sure that our employees have a livable wage. As you know, we have a great culture here. People like working here, but we are not competitive in the industry, and frankly, government is not even competing against government anymore. Everything we do is competing against the private sector. So I can just talk up if we need to turn up. Sound guy, thank you. That being said, as proud as we are of this budget and the significant savings, I think the council is pertinent for you to know that included in this budget is an across-the-board increase for all of our hourly and exempt employees that are not directors of $3 an hour. That is a $6,200 a year raise per employee.
That's awesome.
We still have areas of our employment that we specialize in, like power and light, that we are still at a disadvantage when you're up against the private sector at $55 an hour and we're at $44 an hour. But we are able to do this because of years of merit-based increases up to $1 an hour based on performance. But we are now at a point where we're done competing against Owasso or Collinsville or Tahlequah, because that's not who you're competing against. When we lose an employee who's qualified and who's talent, for me to go out and replace that person cost me about 20 grand more than what we were paying that person when they left for 20 grand. So our task over the last 5 to 6 years is to build up our infrastructure and be able to make sure that we're paying our people and that we're keeping them. The people that we do lose, and we have exit interviews that say, love the culture, we love what's going on here, you guys have made this a great place to work. I'm 23 years old, I have 2 kids. If I can go somewhere for $1 or $2 more an hour, I gotta take it. And I understand that completely. So we're able to also absorb the increase in health insurance costs for employees. As you know, we're required to offer our employees a qualified health plan, and we pay 100% of our employee benefits. We pay 40% of spouse, children, or family. That cost this year, even though we've had phenomenal claims and our pharmaceuticals are way down and we've gotten just actuarials and interest, $697,000 increase in our health care that we have to absorb. So those factors, along with our standard increases that come along with step increases for police contracts and fire, we're still able to offer a savings of $12.5 million in our operating budget and still increase our employees' benefits as a proposal to. And they all understand that's subject to approval of the budget by the council, but that is in there, and that is a significant game changer for our people. We're very proud to be able to present that. We will ask that you approve that. If there's questions or concerns with that, we'll ask that you, if you know, we're at $18 an hour now as our minimum wage anyway. So we don't have anybody that makes that. We might have some new folks that are 15 and a half if they're brand new and doing something non-skilled, but we're just in a position where we have to start being competitive with the private sector. So I'm extremely grateful that we have the opportunity to present that, take care of our folks, keep them around. We have people that have been here all the way up to 45 and 46 years. They put their time in, and we've got people that have been here 4.5 years or 4.5 months. So I just wanted you guys to know up front that is included in this number, and I'm very proud to present that, and we will hope that you all will consider that.
Okay. Item number 6, discussion and vote to approve or reject the annual property insurance renewal with OMAG. I'm not sure who's presenting.
This we may not be able to afford. I'm teasing you, Jared.
Somebody run that clicker? Oh, you're not gonna do the slides up there? You don't have to.
You have a slide?
No, I didn't know if they ran through them off the agenda. Does everybody have this packet?
No.
You don't have to look at it, but I'm gonna run through it. I appreciate you. First of all, I'd like to say, there's a...
It is in, by the way, it is in your agenda.
Okay, just making sure.
It is in the
It's in our
agenda,
packet.
Jared.
There's a huge difference between me and a lot of you guys that are sitting here. This is work for me, and I understand that, right? Hold on. But you guys are volunteering your time to be here today to help our city and to help move forward in a positive direction. I appreciate
It's
that.
almost volunteer.
Almost.
Huh?
Almost volunteer.
There you go. I get it. There we go. Well, starting your pack, you guys, you don't have to follow along, but I'm going to tell you what's in here. Okay, you guys have 144 insured properties for a total of about 213 or 214.5 million in insured value across properties and contents in your properties. For us, whenever we handle your renewal, yes, we're right across the street, but for us, it's an everyday thing. Between this renewal and your next renewal next year, we have about 600 or 700 public entities that will insure between now and when I walk back in here next year. So each of those conversations on those renewals, every insurance carrier, they know that you exist, they know what you have, they know where you're at, they know what rates you have, they know what they have to do to obtain your business, and those discussions are happening constantly. For you guys, our first discussion, assuming you guys stay next year, will be in Dallas on July 17th. We're already scheduled to sit down with 3 carriers to say, this is what this is. What can you do? How can you get in there? So on this renewal, it wasn't, oh, okay, we're 60 days out or 90 days out from your renewal. Who's interested? That's not how it works, okay? OMAG, where you were at last year, has provided the best terms for your renewal, and I'm going to run through that, and there's a lot of reasons why. Your portfolio is, you guys are pretty evenly spread out between your water, wastewater, your parks and recs, and then about 12% is in your electrical substation, and 6% in your administration, public safety, and then some quasi-other entities bring up about 20% of that. As you can see in your packets, we kind of break down on this slide, just kind of going through each individual section and just kind of giving you an idea of how much TIV exists in each one of these departments. I've also included the building age profile, okay? Why is this important? Because whenever we go to market your insurance with a lot of companies, the terms change and get more difficult as our buildings and property age, okay? Once we get roofs well beyond 20 and 30 years, it gets more difficult. When you have as much roof space as the city of Claremore has, and we get where we have 100, 200, and 300 or 400,000 in square footage of roof that's 40 years old, that's in a lot of parts the original roof it gets difficult as well. So that's why I wanted to kind of point that out. You guys have quite a bit of mobile equipment, mowers, John Deere, tractors. Those are all listed in your packets here. If anybody wants to look that over, have any questions. Your deductible on all our mobile equipment's about $500, okay? I've also included kind of your highest value properties, which are going to be the expo, the rec center, the wastewater plant, which you guys have the new plant. When does it get turned over to you guys?
They're going to do a groundbreaking and ribbon cutting in August.
Okay, and that's when,
So the new assets, the green sand filtration, all of that, all of the new capital and fixed assets associated, that's when we'll be up and going.
okay, and then that's when that'll trigger here.
Yeah.
Okay, so outside of what I'm providing to you today, that's something that's going to change between now and next year. Also, about 26 months ago, we took about a third of your properties and they were all evaluated. A lot of that was the park stuff, the lake park, the baseball fields, and some other aspect. I think this year it will trigger on like the building that we're in now and some of the other admin buildings. And then we got most of the utilities and streets done last time, but I think I think like the fleet shop is something that also needs to be evaluated. So assuming those come out good and that we're within range, there should be no impact there. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna turn a couple of pages. There's like I said, there's a lot of information in here, just kind of going over, the statutes and whatnot. The very last page is the one that really matters. If y'all have this. Y'all's renewal is at a 19.5% rate. So for every $100 of TIV that you guys have, the rate is 19.5 cents, okay? Of all the entities that we insure, that is the lowest, okay? You guys are really favorable, extremely favorable in the insurance world, the competition and that exists, and then OMAG also reflecting that. Not all the rates across all the municipalities are the same. Some municipalities this year were forced to have $50,000 deductibles. Okay, you guys have a $10,000 property deductible with no wind and hail considerations like you would see across any of us in our own personal businesses. Okay, 19.5 cents is remarkable. It is an extremely, extremely competitive rate, and that's where you're at your renewal. Last year it was 19 cents flat. Okay, in here you'll see that back in 22 we were sitting at about a 14-cent rate. Okay, 14 cents was on that lower edge of, yes, we're paying very little in insurance, but it can also make an insurance carrier unstable about that rate. So OMAG has done an extremely good job on getting into a position where they're extremely competitive, but also staying physically sound. Okay, y'all have any questions for me? So your renewal is $417,577. Last year it was $386,874. What happens every year, and we broke down some percentages here. So what's happening every year is, one, your building structures. This year we had the little park that went across from the Mo, right? So we're building property that's reflected in here, but then we also have a 4% inflation in here, okay? Before COVID, we used to worry about the inflation guard at 4% being too high. We would argue for 2% or 3% because we felt like our building values were outrunning what it actually cost to build or replace some of these structures, okay? After COVID, we feel like we're not getting it fast enough. One where we saw a 20 or 25% increase in building cost or more, we felt like we would catch up. So we are still, even with the 4% in here on your buildings, we're still on that lower edge of being concerned about, do we have enough on our structures in the end of the claim? But we feel like you guys are in good shape, so.
And I think this current year, I think we've had 2 claims, and I recall they were both lightning strikes at substations. I think. Is that correct? I think
so.
that's so.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? So.
Yeah. You were talking about some water leaks earlier. I was looking back through my notes.
There's no water.
Where they were
There's
small.
no water leaks.
Okay.
Teasing.
I don't remember that.
No.
Which is smart to take care of what you can on yourself to, so, because the conversations that we have is not, a lot of the times, the conversations we have on these entities, it's not, okay, we had this severe situation. It's every year we have 20 of these,
Yeah.
or we have 15 or 10 of these, and those things add up, so.
And I did opt for a $10,000 deductible versus 5 because the difference in overall premiums, I think, was about 50 or 40 something. And I thought even if we had 1 or 2 claims, the savings was.
Yeah, so going from a $5,000 to a $10,000 deductible saved y'all about $30,000 this year. So last year, the threshold was $5,000 minimum property deductible to get a 8 to 10% rate decrease. They kicked that to $10,000 this year. So for us to still be provided that decrease, we had to kick to a 10, but it was a no-brainer.
Appreciate you guys and all the hard work you put into this.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion proven. Second, any questions? Call the roll.
Feldman,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
McSpadden.
Yes.
Item number 7, discussion and vote to approve or reject the TLS group as printed. Mr. Ball.
Thank you all again. So I think since about 2018, we've been under contract with TLS to maintain our traffic signals. Before that, I remember it was done in-house. We had some staff turnover at that time. Basically, nobody knew how to maintain the signals, so at that time, management decided that it was better to contract that out. And since then, I don't know of any issues that we've had with the signals or the maintenance. TLS has been very responsive, and they do quality work, and they're always reasonable in cost. So with that, the maintenance contract for this upcoming fiscal year is $32,850, and we would recommend approval of that contract.
Motion to approve with the request that they adjust the signaling at 66 and Lowry to disconnect that light from any and all trains, because the trains have nothing to do with that light, but it shuts down that whole light.
I second that.
I don't know that we can make that.
I don't think we can motion. Can you alter yours here? Thank you.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Call the roll. Yeah, you tried.
Just fly down.
Feldman,
Yes.
McSpadden,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Breckerhoff,
Yes.
Bowlby.
Yes.
Item number 8, discussion and vote to approve or reject the award of an annual contract for roadway striping. Mr. Ball.
So this is a new annual bid. Our purpose with this one is to get a better striping product, faster, more efficiently than we've done in the past. So over the years, roadway striping has improved tremendously on longevity and how it goes down, reflectivity, all that. So the latest and greatest striping method uses a multi-polymer material. We don't have the equipment to do that, and the truck that it takes to do that is over $500,000. So it makes a lot of sense for us just to contract that out, and that in turn frees up some of our people to fix roads instead of messing with trying to paint and repaint and repaint. So we received 4 bids on this one, I believe. 3 bids. We received 4, 1 was late, we had to reject it. So we received 3 responsive bids. When we ran the numbers on some different scenarios, the 2 lowest bids, depending on what the type of project were advanced work zone services and direct traffic control. So With that, we would recommend awarding a contract to both of those contractors, and then when we issue an individual work order, we'll just have to run the numbers with both of their unit prices and see which one makes the most sense. So with that, staff would recommend approval of 1-year contract with the option to renew for 2 additional years to Advanced Work Zone Services and Direct Traffic Control.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion approved and second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Feldman,
Yes.
Bronkerhoff,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
McSpadden.
Yes.
Item number 9, discussion and vote to approve or reject the award of construction for the Frederick Road Utility Relocation Project.
Good evening, council. So this is the utility relocation for the Frederick Road project. It's been in the works for quite some time. Kyle's had quite the challenge with it right away, so it's finally here. So this will move electric, water, and sewer for the road relocation. We have 4 bids on the project, and the low bid was Timberwolf Excavating. We have not worked with them. I reached out to some colleagues in both Broken Arrow and Owasso. They have both done projects with them, so they were great to work with. So we recommend award. Any questions on?
So is the utility relocation an effort to widen?
Yes,
Frederick
ma'am.
Road? Yes.
So first, we're hoping to have this done within a year, then next year come to y'all and do the road portion. So we'll 3-lane it from where ODOT stopped down the south end of Highway 20 all the way up to Lowe's.
Yeah,
So looking forward to the project.
desperately needs to
During
happen.
the utility relocation, how are we redirecting traffic?
We will have a traffic control plan, and we'll have shutdowns, we'll have to direct people around it, just kind of play it by ear and see where they want to work first and all that, but there'll definitely be some hassles on that, but it'll be good in the end.
Yes.
If the council remember, this is a project that we put off in 2024 after the tornado hit because we didn't know what dollars we would need for recovery. I've been building stuff a long time in municipal government, long before I was here. The most cost-effective and fastest way to do anything is to shut the road down, to be honest with you, and just not allow traffic except for local traffic and not do through traffic. It's a very narrow corridor as is. Traffic on this road has increased drastically since the Highway 20 expansion. There will be some pushback, but I have asked that we really strongly consider working with the contractor. Fortunately, it's less than a mile from start to finish, so you can get out to the south, you can get out to the north, and there's some local traffic. So we will do everything we can to work with the contractor, but I would hope that we can do some pretty major shutdowns to get this thing moving quickly.
Most of it will be crossing, so
Yeah.
a lot of the work will be on the sides. The water line's kind of on the side of the road, so that'll definitely have some traffic restrictions.
But it's substantial grade change between, the ditch, and it's all gonna be undergrounded, and, I mean, it's gonna be a much better and safer road when
I
we're
was gonna say
done.
the road's not safe at all.
The traffic count, and not just the traffic count, the type of traffic that's coming up that road is, and we knew that's what would happen, so I'm very excited because we have been talking about, I've been ready to get this thing done for a long time, and I'm grateful to Levi and Garrett, but Kyle, it's been like pulling teeth on some of the right-of-way acquisition just because you're dealing with corporate entities, and so 3-4 years now with a certain major hardware store along the route, and I just signed the closing documents a week ago Friday. So, it's been quite the challenge, but we're really excited about this project.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved and second. Discussion. Call the roll.
Feldman,
Yes.
Bowlby,
Yes.
McSpadden,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Bronkerhoff.
Yes.
Item number 10, discussion and vote to approve or reject a request to approve the final plat of the Claremore Industrial Park. Mr. Clifton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council, Mr. Fury. The request before you is a request to plat what has been named the Claremore Industrial Park. This particular tract or this particular area is north of West Lowry and east of South 4150 Road. This particular plat is comprised of a little over 350 acres, 350.36 to be exact. It is currently zoned the Industrial Park Special District, IP. The Technical Advisory Committee received the final plat on May 11th. We conducted an initial review of the plat, and as is usually typical with the review of a plat, there were discrepancies that needed to be addressed, so we sent those back with comment. On May 14th, the surveyor returned the document back to us, and the discrepancies that we had noted the first go-around were actually addressed. On May 19th, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the plat, with 4 being in favor, 0 in opposition, and 1 abstention. And as you can see within your packet, the abstention was due to an organizational conflict of interest. So Chairman Green disclosed that and entered an abstention in the matter. That's all I've got on this. I'll take any questions you guys have.
We have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion approved and second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
McSpadden?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Feldman?
Yes.
Calendar?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Breckerhoff?
Yes.
Bowlby?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 11, discussion and vote to approve or reject ordinance number 2026-13 as printed. Ms. Sharp?
The changes in this ordinance remove the requirement for residents to get residential fireworks permits. It still leaves provisions in there for large group gatherings where they would have to come before the Special Events Committee and they would still have to obtain a permit, which would still be the $25, but that also triggers all the safety aspects of a large group or a public display where the fire marshal would be included in site inspections, insurance, all the safety precautions.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, we cannot enforce, I mean, there's hundreds of people that do this. I've always thought it's cities that have them, and I understand why, because there's some safety concerns, but we need to, and frankly, it came in handy in 2024, as dry as it was after the tornado and as much brush as we had. And we still have the ability to curtail and disallow. That's what we did that year, just because it was a tremendous safety hazard. But frankly, we have one fire marshal, and we've got a police department that's got more important things to do on July 4th than go out and chase down potentially fireworks in this particular area of town. And so we still have to regulate commercial gatherings, large gatherings. There's some safety things, some fire marshal codes, so.
And the fireworks days still remain July 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
That's correct.
People can come before the Special Events Committee to request an exemption like they do for example, graduation, or if there's a wedding that want to have sparklers or something like that. So there are provisions in the ordinance which would allow that.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion approved and second. Any questions? Call the roll.
Feldman?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Calendar?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Breckerhoff?
Yes.
Bowlby?
Yes.
McSpadden?
Yes.
Item number 12, discussion and vote to approve or reject resolution number 2026-6 as printed. Mr. Beery.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't know that I could have said, yes, I will put this in front of the council any faster than I did with this particular item when ODOT called last week.
Thank you.
As we were prepping the agenda. So ODOT, as you know, we did the ribbon cutting and opened up the Highway 20 expansion in March of 25. They typically will do that for a year, leave traffic counters out, speed delineation, all that stuff. And they said, hey, we'd like to get that up to 55. Do you have a problem? I said, absolutely not. It's your road. You can do whatever you want. And then, of course, our section of road will stay the same because we have a city ordinance that establishes our speed limit. So they just need this resolution to authorize that. I mean, they can just do it, but they prefer to have a resolution in cooperation with the communities that is affected, that they're raising the speed limit in that particular area from 45 to 55 miles per hour.
Where will that run? From where to where?
Mayor, I'd be lying to you if I told you exactly where when you cross over the new bridge. I mean, the whole road is theirs.
Okay.
When you come off the other side, though, on our side, as I would call it, you get down into a section where it's improved out to the turnpike, but it's technically our part of the road. So that's the
That'll have to
35
be
mile.
the-
Yeah, and they also have considerations on where approaches are. if something develops along there on that east-west run on the west side of 66 in the future, they can go in and adjust speed limits as they see fit, depending on number of curb cuts, what type of use and typology of development happens as well.
I support the increasing speed limits all time everywhere, so motion to approve.
Did you say removing or increasing?
Increasing.
Okay.
All speed limits everywhere.
Removing speed
I'll
limits.
second them for sure.
Again, I think we need a motion to.
Second.
I think we have 2 seconds. We have a second, right?
I'll be third. I'm
Okay.
good.
Motion approved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Spelman.
Yes.
Calendar.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Barkerhoff.
Yes.
Colby. Yes. Dispatch.
Yes.
Motion adjourned. Second.
Motion adjourned in second. Call the roll.
Michael.
Yes.
Spelman.
Yes.
Calendar.
Yes.
Long.
You can look for a second.
Long.
Yes, sorry.
Barkerhoff.
Yes.
Colby. Yes. Dispatch.
Yes.
We adjourn.
In the regional,
454 football.
regional. Yeah.
Oh, you won? Yeah.